So your sins were not still on him. So he escaped. He was freed. That he didn't. You believing that he took up your sin, but he hasn't taken your sin up. They've searched him to find out whether. Oh my God! They searched him to find out whether he's got your sin or not. And it was clear in the judgment seat. The judges and everybody saw that he has not bared your sin. He has not carried your load. He hasn't carried any of your load. And so if he truly carried your load, then he was supposed to go through the sentence, your sentence. You are sentenced to death. So he was supposed to take your death and be sentenced to death, just like any other person. If I do something wrong and somebody decides to, take my sins upon himself, he's supposed to serve my sentence for me. So that person is going to take the death that is meant for me to have, because the wages of sin, the price is death. Now, he would then have to go through the death so that I will live. That is what you read the New Testament. You find out. And so I am supposed to live. He is supposed to die. But he rose. That is what the resurrection, as the believers are saying. He rose and he went up. Now, if he rose and went up, then where in the equation has he taken up the sentence? He only died for 3 days. Your wages of sin is to die forever. You don't die and have any. It is you. The penalty you get for it's not like, has anybody died and rose up again? No. When you die, you have served your sentence. But this isn't the case. So in realist, practically, we are looking at it from a step-by-step thing. You think about it yourself and see where you stand with this, whether what you have learned or whatever your so-called theologian approach of things is, if it is the right thing. And I am looking at it every day of my life, and this is what I'm coming up with. And I share with you that, okay, I don't see anything here that he actually died and his died really compensate for anything. Maybe he compensated for it for 3 days. And it is only those who were there at his generation who will benefit or who will see the impact of salvation. Those who were there at that time, because those who were there within that 3 days, they will have that cleansing. If they are actually a generation that is where we came from, there are generations where they were cleansed, for us not to repeat the whole thing again, because the person rose. If the person is still dead, if he is still dead, then we are forever bound to be cleansed. Even if you go and do it again, you will be cleansed, because he is dead. He is still dead. But if we have been able to get that to sort of, he has been able to come back to life. The sacrifice has been obtained back. He has been taken back again. Then the limitation is only, subject to the 3 days. The limitation is actually something to do with only the 3 days. In so many ways, the salvation or whatever took place for 3 days moment where the works were done to cleanse all things and make things better, so that it will not repeat itself. And if it repeats itself, or it has been repeating itself, and you are not adding works to your faith, and he says works and faith work together, then you will have to think again. Somehow you have put yourself in a situation where you failed yourself, and your so-called faith that you have or you have believed in can be established, because you are the one who is not following through with what you're supposed to do. You still fall short of certain things, and but we also have to think again that what has God got to do with all that? Didn't God know that when Jesus Christ comes to die and forgive and wash you your sins and all that, you will still go back to it? In the text, it reveals somewhere that he probably knew, because in some of the text, it tells you, even Jesus Christ was saying that after he has come and gone, It will be terrible. There will be worse kind of state for people. People will become lawlessness. The lawlessness will rise. He didn't say that it will be better. He said things will be worse. To the extent that there will be wars and rumors of wars. The stubbornness of people will be beyond. Why? Because he says if a man is delivered of evil, the evil goes away. But it comes back with more power. More strong and stubborn demons will come. And it will be worse. So the generation got delivered maybe at his time. And now, the worst of the terrible demons have come. And it's making things worse. Today, the youngsters of beyond the youngsters that we had to experience, that who are behind us, they are terrible because they don't understand anything. Anything they are like programmed. They are different form of possession in them. It's different. I mean, in the Christian way of speaking, and in the Islamic way of speaking, or the Buddhist way of speaking, you can see that no amount of words can make things better for you or for them. They are different. Their understanding is different. They strike from all angles. So if you have to look at these things, these are how you have to relate things to see realistically if you are making sense or not. But this is different, But I choose the option for you to see that life is right there for you and me. You can choose an option which will free you from unnecessary analytical approach of religion which it doesn't bring you the good results that you so-called accept, because you have only accept some truth, but that truth you have accepted is not logically practiced in a logical way. You're not seeing the good, the substance of it, the weight of it. It doesn't become worthy of it. It's only when life is going on well with you, but you can't even relate it to whatever good life that you are having, that truly it is because of these reasons. Because whatever reasons you give, the other person who is not even believing like you are believing is also having the same reason. So it does not justify your reason does not become justified. It doesn't really work. If you say that I'm getting rich because I'm a Christian, there are other people who are not Christians who are getting rich, and they are in a different religion. They are different. So what makes you think that it is your religion makes you rich? There are people even who are not in religion at all, and they are very successful people. How can you then say or conclude that it is your religion that makes you rich, or use that as a means to convince anybody? It's not sense. It's not sensible. It's not right. It's not logic. And God is your God, or anybody you worship, you believe is a sensible person, a sensible God. And so is He not going to allow, so many things which are not sensible to sort of dominate your life. Neither will He communicate to you in an insane way. He will expect you to respond sensibly to some of the questions or whatever answers that come from you. He will expect you to be intelligent. Because He deals with you in a sense that you are sound in every way. This is what it is like. If you don't have understanding, you are better off dead. It's even there in the same Bible. Without understanding, you are better off being dead, or you perish. Because you haven't been able to establish something with a reasonable, thought behind you, trying to reasoning to get it right. You spent your life there and jumping around and having the faith and doing all kinds of things, but you are not making sense of it, and you still think that it makes sense. Some people even tell you that it doesn't make sense, but we still believe it. It doesn't make sense, but we accept it. How ridiculous you sound to say that it don't make sense. You are aware of that it's not making sense. You don't understand it, but you still love it, because you have been made to believe that it is by that you gain what you get. And just because of what you are getting, you have concluded that, yes, it's good for you. Yeah. Then you might as well accept anything, and just as long as the thing works out well and you are having some chocolate in your mouth, then you say that that's good for you then.